Hello, it's Mrs. Liz, and I'm going to teach you how to make cake mix cookies today. And the wonderful thing about cake mix cookies is that there's a lot of different flavors that you can do, and you can also mix it up and try something new. And it's pretty painless. So all you need is a cake mix. I'm not going to promote any particular kind. In fact, in this demonstration, I have one that was gluten-free that I made that's sitting in the fridge. And this one is just a white cake mix. You'll need a stick of butter or butter substitute, an egg or the equivalent of an egg substitute for an egg. And you're going to need a bowl. I love these old Pyrex bowls, they're great. I'm going to use a pastry cutter and a spatula. You're going to need a scoop or a couple spoons to be able to scoop it with, some cooling racks, and you're going to need your pans. I've already baked a batch of cookies because it's the season, and I use parchment paper on my pans, and I do tend to reuse them because I'm frugal like that. So safely open up your cake mix. Kitchen scissors are fantastic. And empty your cake mix into your bowl. Now you're going to take your butter and you are going to, I've allowed this to soften, and it really is better to use a softened butter, not melted but softened. And you're going to put that in there. We'll dispose of all this in a moment. Now I'm going to take my pastry cutter and I'm going to cut the butter into the mixture, the flour, sugar, leaven mixture that is a cake mix. And you're going to keep cutting it until it looks like ground meal. You're going to want it all incorporated nicely. And I will show you what that looks like when we get there. Kind of push down. If you need a bigger bowl so you don't make a mess, go for it. I'm all about trying to clean up as you cook. I don't know. There's certain things that I was taught as a child. One of them was to have short fingernails for piano and cooking, and also to have my hair pulled away so that it wouldn't end up in the food. So, it's looking good. I suppose you could use a pastry mixer or a food processor if you have one, but we don't, and I don't particularly want one. I don't mind using my muscles. I feel like I'm putting more of me in it, especially using this quick, easy method. Oh, by the way, you're going to warm your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and if you're watching in a different country, I would think it would be about 165 Celsius. Not 100% sure about that. So here is my butter that has been incorporated very well into my cake mix. Now I'm taking one large brown egg. Some people say and it is a good idea to crack the egg into a separate bowl, but I've been around a lot of years, so there it is. And you know what I don't have, and I'm going to run and get, is a towel. Sorry about that. Okay, so I have my little towel for my fingers, and now I'm just going to work this egg into the mixture. Just want to evenly distribute it. And again, if you have a dough hook and you want to use a food processor or a mixer, that's your prerogative, but I don't mind using my hands. and my spatula. There we go. I'm starting to see it kind of form into a ball. That's what we want to see. Don't give up. It takes a little bit of work. You're just slowly incorporating the flour sugar mixture into the butter and the egg until it really starts to form a ball. I would love for you to tell me what flavor profile or what flavor cake mix and any kind of additives you are going to use for your cookies. Very interested. Maybe it might be something that I'll try. One that my husband loves is red velvet, and that is a good holiday choice. And I always fill it with a homemade cream cheese buttercream frosting. Okay, we're getting there. You can feel it. This is the third mix I've done today, so I really can feel it. What are we going to do with all those cookies? I don't know. I know what you'll do. You're going to eat them, aren't you? It's a nice gift to give, too. So it's coming together, but it's going to need a little help from my very clean hands. How about that? So I'm going to put my hands in here. They are clean. And I'm going to use it like a dough hook. See? Just like this. Just putting it in there. If you want to wear gloves, you can. But I'm kind of doing the motion of what a dough hook would do on a mixer. It's making it into a ball. I'm incorporating all the loose pieces. And then I'm going to have to take a second and wash my hands. So our cameraman will stop it in a minute. Okay, it's coming together. But now we're going to add something to this mixture. Okay, in this bowl I have 2/3 cup of craisins, which are cranberries, and 1/3 cup of white chocolate chips. I'm going to add that to it. I thought it would be a fun thing to add. Don't eat them. I see you. Put the chocolate chips down. Okay, here we go. The only thing, some people like their cookies not too sweet. And because this is a cake mix, it might be a little sweet. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? There is your dough. Now, if you would pause, I'm going to go, oh, there's your dough. Thank you. Be right back. My hands are clean, and I have cleared the cookie racks, and I'm getting ready with my large scoop to scoop out these beautiful cookies. So the great thing about a scoop is it's portioned perfectly. So here is one on, I think this is a 14 by 10 cookie sheet. You are going to put 6. And my oven is already preheated to 350 degrees, or I believe it would be 165 Celsius. That's a good math question. I don't have the conversion handy. And I'm going to be putting 2 sheets in side by side, and I will ask my delightful videographer to show you what it's going to look like, just because you need to know if you're baking for the first time which a lot of my homeschoolers that are watching will be. And this is a nice, easy way to start the science of cooking. The adventures of baking, I should say. There's a difference between baking and cooking, some people say, and I respect that. Also in the chat, if you want to put down what your favorite cooking show is, I'd love to know because I watch them all the time. All right, now if I want these to be a little bit flatter, I'm going to need to actually flatten them down with my fingers. At this point, if you have if you want to put some sugar or something on top of it, if you want to do like a snickerdoodle, you would roll it and then flatten it. If you're doing a peanut butter type cookie, you might want to take your you're going to want to take your fork and do a crosshatch. And I'm going to show you one other thing with that gluten-free mix that I've used and is sitting in the refrigerator. After we're done with these, I'm going to show you how to do a jam thumbprint. So that'll be good. Okay, to the oven. And all preheated. Here we go. My rack is in the middle. And I want to make sure that they're evenly distributed in the oven because I have two. I'm just going to put them side by side. And there you go. Set a timer. And I'm going to set this timer for 10 minutes. Might take 11. Oop. And there goes that timer. So now I'm going to finish scooping this out. And we'll break and I'll be back. So here we are with this gluten-free mixture or cake mix I had done. And we are going to make jam thumbprints with it. I've got the larger scoop again. And I'm going to scoop 6 on my pan. Oops. Gluten-free sometimes has a different texture. But I did the same thing with this one. I used a stick of butter and an egg. But to be honest, I added a little bit of almond milk to it, and I probably shouldn't have done that because, you know, I'm still learning. So we'll go ahead and scoop these guys out too. Our first batch of the other cookies are baking away and they look great and they smell very good. And I have just a couple more. Whoop. We're going to get to use our thumbs on this one. It looks like we have 4 minutes left on our other cookies. I'm going to set this aside. And we're going to actually just take our thumb and make a well for the jam. Clean hands, okay? Our mom used to make, well, that was my index finger. Our mom used to use a thimble. If you have a baking thimble, go for it. Well, this one, we don't mind it being a little bit higher. So, like I said, it's like a well. And I'm hurrying because the oven is getting ready to, excuse me just a second. is getting ready to finish up. Da, 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 da. All right, here we go. So now I'm just going to take my jam. I'm going to take well, actually, I'm going to take 2 teaspoons. And I'm only going to put a half a teaspoon of jam in there. This one is seedless. This is also how you this is how you do it when you have no scoop. You form your ball with the spoons, teaspoons. I did say that our first batch might take 11 minutes. You just have to keep an eye on it. All right, that's a little much. Have fun when you go. Oh, that's the 1 minute warning. I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to take these and put this over here. And I have my oven mitt. And I'm going to get ready to pull this out of the oven or to check on them and see if they need another minute. And you can watch it with me if you want. Let's see what we have here. 30 seconds. 29. 25. 23. 22. 21, 20. Anticipation. I have 1 more pan of the cranberry with the white chocolate chips. And I'm going to open up the oven very carefully and I'm going to check and see if they need another minute. I'm clearing the timer. Yeah, I think 1 more minute is needed. So I'm just going to go timer and 1 minute and start. And there it goes. And if you will cut, I will show you what they look like in just a second. Of cookies is pretty important. So let's put our timer on again. This time I'm going to do 12 minutes because they're the big ones. And start. Small ones, you don't need 12 minutes. You probably need 9 to 10 minutes. And you might need help, children, taking these off. I'm just going to take this hot pan and put it on this trivet. Don't burn yourselves. I don't want to hear any stories of anybody getting hurt. Cool, just like that. And don't touch them. I know you want to, but you have to wait about a minute or 2 before you slide them off the paper. And we're going to do 1 more pan of these as soon as we can. So I'm waiting. We're waiting for them to cool. Yeah. So I've discovered something about adding liquid to my gluten-free mixture. I should not have done that. It made them too soft. Although I'm sure it will be delicious, I think that I could have done without it and they would have held up much better. So this is after 12 minutes. These little guys have to cool. They're going to have to cool. So when you are doing your large scoop, you're going to yield 18 to 20. These turned out beautiful. And these are pretty, but they are very soft. So I'm letting them cool. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I wish you the best in your cooking, and until next time, don't forget to post, okay? Post what you did and how it turned out for you. See you soon.